Good morning. Thanks for joining us. First thing, right when the doors open for KBIS. We're really glad to see you guys. My name is Jennifer Cassenson. I'm with Build Exact, and I also am a contributing writer for Housing Innovation for Forbes. So I am really excited to be here. I've learned a lot from these two. We have a lot to talk about in the realm of AI and design, and probably don't need any introduction because you all came to see them, but Nicole Fisher and Russell Goldman. And we're going to have a fun and dynamic conversation. Would love to pull the audience in a little bit as well, so we might get you guys engaged right away. So I want you guys first, I know, like I said, you probably don't need introduction, but if you go just do a brief introductions of yourself.
Sure. My name is Nicole Fisher. I am an interior designer based in New York, and I focus on high-end luxury residential.
Hi, I'm Russ Goldman. I'm also a designer. I'm a designer and a technologist, I suppose. I have a firm called More Wow, which is based here in Florida and also in New York. Before doing design, I spent about 2 decades working in technology on the product management side, in particular focus on AI and machine learning. So I'm really excited about this specific conversation.
Yeah, so I wanted to, during your introduction, let people know where AI is showing up in your firm and where explicitly it is not showing up in your firm.
For me, AI is showing up in all of our systems, all of our processes. It is not showing up on the creative side. For us, AI is not a replacement. AI is a tool that we are using to enhance what we're doing, how we're showing our clients, how we are showing up for our clients, and how we are executing our projects.
So AI for me shows up in a couple of different ways. So like Nicole, we use AI for kind of like silly, organizational things, just like everyone does, asking ChatGPT about some research point or taking an idea and coming up with 50 other possible ideas that we could come up with. But my firm also separates out regular high-end design from technology. So we have sort of like a labs function, and we roll out like a few products here and there which we use for clients. But we were just talking, I have a business that is just launching this month, which is focused on design and architecture, which maybe I'll talk about later.
We hope so. Good teaser. Okay, so let's calibrate a little bit. Who are we talking to today? Raise your hand if you're a designer. Ooh, lots of them. Builder? Technologist? Oh.
Just you.
And someone who's not, she just raised her hand like this. Be proud, loud and proud. All right, there we go. Okay, so are you guys for or against the increase of AI? For? Oh, half and half, yeah, against it. No, wait. I'm confused. Don't know. Who doesn't know? Okay, still not raised hands. Okay, this will be interesting. And who is driving their company's AI strategy? So who has the reins on that? So a few people. Nice. Okay. So we're going to do this speed round, and the speed round means that these guys have to answer. We'll just go Nicole, Russ each time, and then one person from the audience. So we'll say only one word or one phrase answers to each one of these questions, and I need to put my goggles on. AI is changing the world at an exponential pace. What's one way that you're keeping track of trends? Nicole.
One way I'm keeping track of trends, that is in systems.
Product hunt. I'm sure no one knows what that is, but
business strategy.
Nice. One place AI has reduced risk in your business.
Contracts.
Diversifying revenue with new businesses.
Speeding up the design process.
Very good. One place AI has helped us say no faster.
Client communication.
In being my therapist.
Every day.
Sure. One decision AI helps us prepare for.
Growth.
And he even got the questions in advance.
I did.
And I stumped him.
I purposely didn't think about it too hard because I thought I would be awkward. Now I'm just awkward. I don't know. One way it has prepared us.
One decision AI helps us prepare for.
In my business? Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
Business growth.
Well, yeah.
Analyzing our sales trends as they're continuously changing.
Nice.
Couldn't have said it better.
One way AI protects your time as a creative leader.
Standard operating procedures.
Taking over operational tasks, basically giving me back my time to do more design.
Helps us with our customers with ideas and try to recreate what they're wanting.
Yeah, generate ideas. Okay, last one. We'll get into the why later, but quickly, can luxury be automated? Yes or no?
No.
I stumped him again.
Well, luxury, the way that I think about it, no. I think no.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thanks for participating, everybody who I picked on. So, Nicole, you're running a growing firm with complex clients. How has AI changed the way that you lead people and protect the creative process as you scale?
Yeah, I think there is a common misconception that creativity cannot be scaled. And I'm an interior designer, us as designers in the room, we struggle with the idea of growing a business that we cannot tangibly touch. And AI has allowed me to grow the systems and the standard operating procedures in my firm on a daily basis that allows the team to execute and grow. And it has been a complete mindset shift for me that I'm not the only one who's able to do it. I'm not the only one who's able to bring these projects to fruition with the same amount of love and care and dedication that we bring to everything that we do. But it's because we have these tools with AI and our systems that has allowed us and allowed the team to really have what they need to grow and scale without me being physically present.
That is a tough shift. So what advice would you give everybody else to be able to make that shift?
The advice that I would give you is that first, it's a mindset. You have to be committed to know that if I want to grow, I can't do it alone. And that is something you really need to accept internally and be okay with. And once you have done that, you need to take time out of your day to realize, what am I spending my time on? What am I doing? For me, it was mostly administrative work, right? So that was the first thing that I could go in and use AI strategically to figure out how can I leverage my time better, take off the admin work, and let someone else take over that so I can focus on more high-touch, high-level creative work. So advice would be audit your time, spend 2 weeks auditing 15-minute increments, figure out, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I actually spend a lot of time doing X that I didn't realize it. Then offload that one thing to someone. They don't need to be full-time. They can be a administrative assistant. They could be someone remote. They can be an AI assistant. But offload that and work with AI. I use ChatGPT a lot and create these operating procedures that you can then give someone. We call them playbooks, and they can execute on on your behalf. You will be shocked how much time all of a sudden has been lifted off of your plate.
And when you have to hire somebody new, you have a playbook there,
Exactly.
sitting there, and it can onboard with ease. So Russ, you operate in a couple different extremes. One is heritage craft, and one is computational systems. So what does each one teach you about the other?
So I guess first I should say from when you talk about heritage crafts, I should probably just say, so the regular design part of my business focuses a lot on individual client heritage. So our design is sort of personalized specifically in thinking about who our clients are, where they come from, their culture, things like that. We create products, we source products internationally, primarily vintage pieces, antiques, and custom-made items. So I would say that on the regular design side, I think it's made it, well, in doing both, I think I'm very clear-eyed about what AI or what software cannot do. So on the software side or computational systems, I think there is, that is a lot about process, systems sort of like iterate on processes. They get feedback in code. Things are kind of constantly improving. So I would say from a business perspective, I've always been, and probably even more now, just a systems thinker. Just, really, I love thinking about how to improve my business, but also like diving deep into things, doing more research. But from the heritage side, I would say it's very clear that some things that have value can't actually be automated.
Yeah, it's a tricky gap to bridge. Yeah. So can you both share, Russ, starting with you, can you both share a specific non-visual example of how AI has actually changed how you operate?
So the biggest example of how AI has changed how I operate, so when I decided to become a designer and left my tech job, I didn't actually intend to go back to tech. So I would say the biggest thing that has changed about my business is that now I'm sort of straddling both industries. So I think that because there's so much happening in AI in particular, I mean tech always, but like AI in particular, like Nicole was saying, there's a lot of opportunities to think about all of the crazy inefficient ways that we operate. So looking from outside into this business as someone who has, spent a lot of time outside the business, when I came into design, I thought that the entire industry was operating in the 90s. And so I feel like I've lost my train of thought. So I think that gave me a lot of opportunity to think about pain that I would see other people having, but also that I started to feel, and bring in my background to start creating products. So the main way that it's changed my business is, as I was saying, now we have multiple products that we create for our own business. One of them has to do with color identification. Another one is for helping to understand client needs. So as most designers here probably know, it's impossible to get a client to tell you exactly what they want. Not just a generic style like mid-century or traditional, but using technology sort of in a swipe right, swipe left way, you can use AI to get a deeper understanding of someone's likes and their profile. In addition to that, we have another product that's, as I mentioned, that's launching today. But I think not today, this month. But I think just the biggest change has been sort of putting me back in the center of it, even though I had thought I left it.
For me, the biggest shift has been our standard operating procedures. I mentioned it before. It is taking something that we do every single day and making a manual for it. So, for example, that is down to site visits. That site visit is what we need to bring. There is a checklist. The site visit is who we're talking to, what we're looking at, what we need to check off from our list, what are we cross-checking from our plans. There are a plethora of things that we are looking at and doing every single day. And it can feel really daunting when you start standardizing all of these documents because there is so much that you actually do every day. And I have found the best way to attack it really is to do a task, decide what actually didn't work with the task that you just completed, and then write the operating procedure based on that. So what am I going to do differently next time that I didn't do correctly this time?
Nice. That's a good approach. How many of you believe in the saying, the first one to bid is the first one to win? Yeah. I mean, there's speed. Just plain old speed with AI, getting to market faster. So AI is often framed as an inspiration or productivity tool, and we're building systems that judge whether something can legally or physically exist. What changes when AI moves from inspiration to authority?
You with me? Okay. I don't think AI should be taken as an authoritative measure. I think those waters get really muddy. I think AI is the best for communicating an idea. It is for brainstorming. It's for drafting. It's for getting these thoughts out on paper. But it is not going to, for my firm and for the design industry in general, should not replace as an authoritative component to what we're doing. We have builders in the room. We're dealing with code. We're dealing with, structure. We're dealing with things that cannot be dictated through technology. And I think when you rely too heavily on these things to give you those concrete answers, I think we get into a little bit of a muddy water there. So I would tread the line very lightly.
So I agree that, so are we talking about whether AI could be an authority or should be an authority?
So actually, let's reframe it a little bit. So Russ, where do you think AI should be allowed to make decisions, and where should it always remain advisory?
So I think AI could be allowed to make a lot of different decisions when it comes to design, actually. It just depends on the type of client. I think that when it comes to luxury and when people are paying a lot of money for something that is very unique and personal, I don't think AI should be really in the equation at all, other than kind of the ways that Nicole was talking about it. When it comes to, and the reason why I say like AI could make decisions, I think that in the future, you probably will see an increased separation between luxury and luxury design and basically everything else, because whether we want it to or not, or we think it should or not, AI can do design. It can create aesthetics of some type. So for a lot of people who can't afford, luxury, I think AI probably will become some type of authority there. I would also agree with what Nicole was saying about when you think about design and architecture in more broadly, that the place for AI has to be a little bit more considered. So I disagree slightly in that AI has the capability of being an authority, even when it comes to building. So AI can use analytics or predictive analytics. It can understand building code. It can tell us how something can or should be built. But the one place where I think AI shouldn't be used and probably will never successfully be used is to be the final voice that something is approved. So when it comes to parts of the industry or any industry that have a lot of liability, where stakeholders pay for liability insurance or they're dealing with high stakes, creation of projects, things that could fall down on someone's head, I think that AI can be an authority in guiding someone, but that the final say, because of liability and the amount of checks that you need, it should be on a human. But in the future, I believe that as there's a greater need for digitizing things, not just like submitting stuff to a building department, I think that the partnership between humans and AI systems is going to also accelerate.
Yeah, thank you, Russ. So how many of you are using AI to automate design process and like to make realistic renders or designs? So one thing I was really surprised by in my conversation with these two is staying away from more realistic designs. So can you explain that?
Sure. It's been a very difficult position for me to be in when we're presenting to a client, because I have been finding the more realistic we are in terms of what we're showing, purely on a computer, the more literal they're taking this design. So much of what we're doing is this, we are selling an idea, we're selling a look, we're selling a vibe, and when they see something that looked like a photograph, it almost is taken way too literal, and then it's hard to bring them back when we have physical fabrics to show, or we have physical materials to show, or it's fully installed and it's just a little bit different, or the colors are a little bit different from this very real rendering that they have looked at. So we have started actually using AI to dull down the realistic component of what we're doing. So we are taking these beautiful, realistic images. We're using AI, and I'm saying, turn this into a watercolor or turn this into a sketch. And all of a sudden, it's doing the same thing for the client and for our presentation, but creating this a little bit level of ambiguity that they can dream with us, that they can create with us, and they can understand the dream behind what we're doing. And it actually has been a much, much better approach when we're giving all of these presentations.
Russ, you have some more to add to that? I know you said the same thing.
Yeah, I think the same thing happens with me. I would say that it just puts more of emphasis on the whole process and the story that you're telling someone about their home. I mean, just kind of like romancing the meeting a little bit more. And I think that the danger also of what Nicole is saying, and I have a lot of clients like this who they still want the rendering, but they know now that you can actually make a very realistic render. So they want every single product rendered in the rendering. So before, when you did a rendering, it was just directional, just this is their sense of space. This is the color, general patterns, or the wallpaper on the wall. but now they want to know exactly the table that they're going to buy that's going to be in front of their sofa. And not all of those products are actually available in the rendering catalog. So if you're, especially in luxury, if you're buying something that is, custom made or, custom made at from a very expensive brand, you have to actually get that made by someone who can render a product and then put it back in your rendering. So it costs a lot of money. It takes more time. It's just, super annoying. So yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
So more realistic can be more costly.
Yeah.
And set up expectations from the client in a wrong way. So that's a great summary.
Can I just say one thing? So I have a client right now in New York, and who's kind of impossible and also wants to spend no money, but he wants luxury design. So in that case, I am going to give him a render, but one that's actually not very good. So I'd say that's actually how I use renders. I will not do the render for, the project to kind of sell the whole thing to the person, but if I'm mid-project and then they're just I just can't make this decision, I don't know, blah, 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 then I will make the silly render and give it to them so they can just make a decision. But I won't go through the whole process and make the whole house and every single thing. It's just...
Yeah, time consuming. So our roles are changing because of AI. And how many of you feel like right now you're part designer, part therapist for your clients? Okay, so everyone, essentially. So Nicole, you brought up that AI and the return of client boundaries in your work and mentioned that AI can enable a clearer scope definition and improving communications and reduce emotional taxes and protect relationships by removing some of the ambiguity. Can you talk a little bit how that's happened, how the transformation has happened in your firm?
Yeah, so for us, I always say I am a full-time therapist. That is 100% my job. It is balancing personalities, balancing egos, balancing styles, balancing budgets. It is there's so many facets of this industry, and being a designer and dealing with clients on such a personal basis that we have to do every day. And understanding that it's a really important role, and it's really because it's so personal. When something happens or there is scope creep or we have an upset client or they're not happy with something, I don't know about all of you, but I take it personally. It's very hard not to take these things personally when it comes up. And I have found that using AI in a way to take all of these things out of my head, put it down, use the microphone component of it, talk to it. This is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. I need to be able to respond to this client in a really level-headed way. Don't let it change my authority in the relationship. However, I need them to understand the relationship going forward. And it has really allowed me to take a step back, look at a different approach to how I would talk to a client or respond to a client, respond to a contractor or a vendor, and be able to maintain a more professional relationship without losing my cool, without letting that guard down, without letting the boundaries go. And it has been game-changing for me to really take that extra step, to write it down, to speak to it, and to let it do its magic in really maintaining the relationship that I might have messed up.
Well, there's a lot here, you guys, and we're running on time, and we have one more final speed round to get through. So in the future, we'll do the same way. Nicole, then Russ, and one lucky person from the audience. In the future, do you think clients will trust people or systems more when it comes to design, risk, and approach? Systems or people?
People.
when you say more, do you mean? Do you
One word,
mean?
Russ.
I know, but do you mean? I thought this when I looked at it. Do you mean more than today, or more as a comparison?
As a comparison between the two. This is supposed to be a speed round.
Okay, systems.
People.
One way AI will significantly improve our efforts to be creative.
Leveraging time.
Giving me time back.
Yeah, time.
In 5 years, what will matter more in this industry? Better design tools and taste, or better design systems?
Systems.
Ding ding. Systems.
Systems.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is authenticity?
10.
10.
10.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is storytelling?
10.
8.
8.
You have to sell it.
Yeah, that's right. This render is exactly what you want, even though you can't see anything from it.
But I still have to do the render, you know. So.
One word, what does AI erase if we're not careful?
Creativity.
Meaning.
Okay, so to wrap it up, and thank you all for joining us today, Russell and Nicole, can you please offer one thing that principal designers should adopt in the next year, like using AI to audit a process, using AI to reduce emotional labor, writing a playbook? What's your one thing?
My one thing, I stress everyone to start working on these standard operating procedures. It is a game changer. Take one day in your office, write down what you do, and then talk to AI and come up with a playbook for every single thing. If you are able to automate it to a point where we use Scribe. Scribe is a SOP website, and it is categorized by the individual role in the firm. So we have design, and then under design we'll say senior designer or technical designer, etc. Under that has the standard operating procedures for each one of them. And so when we have a new person join, they know exactly where to look and exactly what they need to do to get their day started.
So my new company is called Buildable Engine, and everyone should adopt it. That's one. But I would say that we talk a lot about ChatGPT and all these things, but I think that AI is going to ruin a lot of people's livelihoods. And I think it's actually very important that everyone think about not just how to use ChatGPT, and all these things, but I think you should think about the pain that you have in your business. So what don't you like doing? What is ruining your margin in your business? And look for AI opportunities that you can actually go and use or buy that can solve those problems. Because yes, everyone needs to understand how AI works and use Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever you want. But in a year or 2 years, that's not going to be good enough. And there will be a lot of fallout in the industry for people who don't stay on top of it. So technology can help you, but you need to think about your business and the problems that you're having or you will have, whatever they are, and do searches. Find products that help with those specific things and look into it. Try them. A lot of them will have free trials. So you pay for a month, you try it out, and that's it. But you need to be doing that now, or people will be left behind. Sorry to sound ominous, but I really believe that.
And try his technology. We're going to work on your
That's
commercial a little bit. Okay, thank you all so much for joining us today, and thank you so much, Nicole and Russ.